Let's get a read it and talk a little Game 5 tonight.
Get it in for us.
It is playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball is in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every single game. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. You can bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that is safe, secure, and easy to use. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And today's winning ticket comes from Ryan Stiver online at RyDog216, who turned $18 into $1,171 on a Game 3 parlay between the Nuggets and the Lakers. He had Jamal Murray over on the points, Jokic over on the rebounds, Jokic over on the assists, over on the total points, D'Angelo Russell over 10 points, Austin Reeves over 15 points, LeBron and Jokic both over 30. LeBron scored exactly 30, and that $18 bet turned into $1,171. So shout out to Ryan Stiver for today's winning ticket.
How about the Lakers? They're done.
No, he sweated out that
Finished.
LeBron 30, boy. He was sitting there like, please.
What do you got to say about LeBron there, Jason? Will his next game be for the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Oh, my God.
It's a great jumping off point, Bull. The Cavs have a must-win.
That's a terrible sidebar by you.
Do or die.
I just said before the show I'm going to dread these next couple of months.
Yes,
This is
that's
the
trying
worst.
to get Jason off the hook by that.
Go ahead.
Game 5 tonight, though.
Yeah.
2-2. The road team is yet to win a game in this series. It's the home team that's won all 4.
Yeah.
Games 3 and 4 were less than stellar performances from Cleveland, and that is putting it way too generously. They were, as Jason tweeted, inexcusable and pathetic.
But here's the thing, guys. This is what we know, right? I remember leading up to Game 3, the Magic for Game 3 were a 1-point favorite. And everybody was online saying, why are the Magic favored? The Cavs have dominated the first 2 games. Well, what do we know? In the history of the NBA, really more than any sport, maybe football is there too, home court is huge. The other guys, the non-stars, play better at home. So that leads me to believe that the Cavs will bounce back where they are favored, where they've played well at home. But the only fly in the ointment to me, guys, in that is that Donovan Mitchell, who played his best game in Game 1, has not been the same player, in my opinion, since the first quarter of Game 2. He was great in Game 1. He was great in the first quarter of Game 2. And in the last 11 quarters, he has not really played well. What's the difference? Well, going into Game 1, he had over a week of rest. Going into Game 2, yeah, he didn't have a lot of rest, but he'd only played 1 game. Well, now he's played 4 games. He's got very little rest, and he doesn't look right. So that kind of fights against the home court advantage here. So I don't know what the right answer is. Tyvis, what do you got? That's what you got.
First of all, I'm not. The Cavs, obviously, their last couple of games have been terrible. Just God.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Awful. But I'm not all the way out on the Cavs like some people are. Like some people are like, oh, it doesn't even matter what they do. I'm not there because before this series, everybody picked the Cavs in 6, which holds true if they win the next 2 games.
I picked the Magic in 5, and then I immediately said I was crazy for doing that.
Yeah, so I think you're right with the Donovan Mitchell thing. It is something, but it's not just him, it's everybody. Everybody's not playing up to their standard.
Except for Jared Allen.
Jared Allen is the only one.
Very well.
Jared Allen is playing well.
I mean, Darius has been awful in this series.
It was amazing how we watched. Remember, we watched Game 1 and 2. We wanted the biggest question mark was Evan Mobley and Isaac Okoro shooting. If they hit the threes, it changes everything. Game 1, Evan Mobley comes out there, hit 2 of them.
Yeah.
Next game, Isaac Okoro step back, and it changed the whole dynamic. When they was in Orlando, it was literally like the teams flipped. Orlando could hit threes, the Cavs couldn't. When the Cavs are at home, Orlando can't hit threes, but the Cavs can. So if this all holds true that everybody plays better at home, obviously the Cavs got the advantage because they play Game 5 and Game 7 at home. A lot of guys need to show up. Niang, Strus. I was joking, but I ain't joking. Sasha Pavlovich was better in the finals than Max Strus is today.
I mean, we're counting on Strus.
Sasha Pavlovich!
Strus went to the finals last year at Miami. We were counting on that experience. Jason, you look at it there. Darius Garland I said he hasn't played well. He hasn't scored a lot of points. his shooting percentage has actually been decent. He's just not shooting the ball very much. What is going on here? Last year, nobody played well for the Cavs. This year, when you look through 4 games, it's really only Jarrett Allen that's played well. What is happening?
All right.
Are you worried more about, is it home court and the Cavs will bounce back? Or is Donovan Mitchell's injury and Darius Garland being not the same guy too much to override?
I did a deep dive on the data for this morning in The Athletic.
All right.
So which bad number do you want first?
Oh.
Let's like the big
start
wheel,
with-
the big Price is Right wheel.
Yeah.
I'd like wait.
Yeah.
But to be fair, we all kind of said that they were winning in spite of them playing really well, and now it's just
No, I said they were
Or not playing well on
badly.
offense.
Yeah.
They were winning despite not playing well.
exactly.
Right.
That's what did I
Well,
say?
they were playing well defensively.
Did I not just say that?
They were playing well defensively.
Yeah,
Mike
they
pulled
were
the
playing
clips.
first 2 games, good defense, terrible offense.
A lot
Next
of their
2 games, terrible.
A
on
lot
both.
of their defense was predicated on the fact Orlando couldn't shoot.
That's true. Okay, so
let's
start with the
spin the
least.
wheel.
Start with the least worst number, and then go down.
No.
Jason, I think.
Jason, only because I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
The Cavs' offense has not been anywhere good enough through 4 games. So let's start in particular with their third quarter offensive numbers.
Oh, yeah.
You wanna
That
start
draws
there?
the biggest picture, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the most damning, to me, this is the most damning statistic of the series.
Right.
Home, away, doesn't matter. The Cavs in the third quarter. See, I was going to start somewhere else. Now I got to find it. The Cavs in the third quarter, okay,
Yeah.
have an offensive rating of 72.3. Now,
Give us context on that.
offensive rating is points per 100 possessions. It's a standardized. It levels the playing field for all the teams. It's an excellent stat. That is the worst. First of all, it's the worst third quarter offensive rating in this postseason by 20 points. The next closest was the Lakers prior to last night at like 93. The Cavs are 20 points worse. It's also the worst offensive rating in third quarters of playoff series, of a postseason, of entire postseason, since at least 1997, because that's as far back as the data goes.
Okay, could be the worst of all time.
Now think about how the
Yeah.
game has changed
Right.
in the last 25 years. 1997 is back when teams' final scores were like 82 to 79.
Right. Knicks against the Heat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the Cavs have the worst offensive rating of any third quarter since at least 1997.
Almost 30 years.
That is like mind-blowingly bad.
Right.
Houston almost clipped them, like, and I think it was like 2004. I thought Houston was worse, and then I double-checked the numbers, and no, Houston's not
So
worse.
the
Cavs
Lakers have the second worst rating in the 90s, and that's
in the
bad.
90s, and that's bad.
That's bad.
That's bad.
You know what that tells me? That the same thing we've been saying about JB since the play-in tournament is still the same thing today. He does not adjust at all. Or is either he
you
doesn't
blame him?
adjust or
Well,
they can't handle
How much
the
does he get the blame,
adjustment.
Jason?
I mean, that falls on the coach.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of that falls on
you
the
got,
coach.
You're coming out of halftime.
Right.
That's
where
it.
that's
That's
where
fair.
they bring the board, get the big board that spins, draw it big so everybody can see it.
Yeah.
This is what they're doing. How we're going to defeat this is we're going to do this, this, and this.
That's fine, but it's not all the coach.
No.
Yeah.
You got to hit shots.
Yeah.
And they're not making shots. And, I mean, in Orlando, I think, what was it, Mike? Do you remember? They were like 3 of 17 on wide open threes. Mm-hmm. Something like that. I know it's 16%.
Right.
They're shooting 16% on wide open shots in Orlando. Now, yes, what you said earlier applies. Role players play better at home than on the road.
Right.
But the role players you're counting on are guys that are playoff tested. Max Strus has been to the finals.
Right.
George Niang has been to the playoffs multiple times. These are guys that should not be rattled by
LeVert also.
a road series.
I'd rather
LeVert's been terrible.
Sasha and Danielle Marshall.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would.
No, you wouldn't.
Mike, what are the Cavs shooting, period, from 3 in this series?
I'll tell you that in 1 second, but just to give context, Jason, repeat your third quarter offensive rating number again.
72.3.
During the regular season,
Yeah.
in the third quarter, the Cavs' offensive rating was 114.9. It is a 42.6% difference.
And where does 114.9 rank, you think?
21st in the NBA.
So even that's not that great.
That's not that great.
So
no.
114.9 is below average.
Bottom 10 in the league.
And the Cavs are at 72. So that really puts it into perspective there.
And
How
here's their
hideous
shooting
that is.
numbers. Jason, you asked, here's their shooting. This is through 4 games. So this
Yeah.
is inclusive of all 4 games of this
Yeah.
series so far. On corner threes, which is the shot you want to get most.
Right, the easiest three-pointer.
They are 5 for 25 for 25%. During the regular season, they shot 37.2% on corner threes, which is right around league average.
5 for 25, that's 20%.
20%.
20%, yes.
Yeah. Mike's
So-
not great with math.
No, I'm not. I saw 25. That is 20%.
Yeah.
Which is 17 points lower than their season average.
Right.
On open threes, which NBA.com tracks as the closest defender being 4 to 6 feet away from you, they are 10 for 48 on open threes in this series. That's 20.8% in the regular season. They shot 36% on those.
Oof.
On wide open threes, where the closest defender is 6 or more feet away, in this series, they are 16 of 49 for 32.7%, down from 40.6% in the regular season.
Yeah, that's
They were
really bad.
They were a mid-level three-point shooting team in the regular season. I think they're like 15th of all the teams during the regular season. They are dead. Going into last night, I haven't looked this morning. Going into last night's
probably
games,
still last,
they were dead last among postseason teams in three-point shooting.
Okay, so what's the hope now? Spinning it
You
forward.
got to make
tonight.
shots. Like, you got to make shots.
Are you worried about...
Sometimes it really is that simple.
I'm worried about Donovan Mitchell, though.
Okay.
He's not right. Oh, spinning the wheel. Spin the wheel.
Here's the Donovan.
Donovan.
Here's the Donovan. Donovan's offensive rating in the regular season hovers right around 117.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
When he was in Utah, the bubble year, he had an offensive rating in the bubble of 122.6. So very
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
2021, the following year, he had an offensive rating of 124. Excellent.
Okay.
Last three postseasons, Donovan's offensive rating in the last three postseasons. His last year in Utah, 107.3. Last year,
What does that consider? Like, what's the line of where you're below average?
I mean, let me.
Okay, go ahead.
107.3. Last year in Cleveland, 106.1. This year, 100. He has regressed every year the last 3 years in the postseason.
That
Every
is not
year.
good. Hey, Mike.
So this is more than just a knee issue. This is a trend now.
That's fair.
We have 3
and
years of
it's
data.
probably even worse because of the knee.
I mean, it's 3 first-round exits.
Yeah. Well,
But-
it's not a first round exit yet, but
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't mean
Look
it like
at you.
that.
Yeah.
No, I
take
but
it
it
back.
could be.
No,
Take
Could
it
be.
back.
No, I didn't mean it like that. The last 2 years were first-round exits, and this is a first-round series. So it's
Right.
only 3 series total
Gotcha.
is what I meant. I apologize. I did not mean that they're going to go in the first round.
Mike, can you, when you have a chance, or maybe Earl or Anthony could do this, I'd love to know Donovan Mitchell shooting the game 1 and the first quarter of game 2, and then since the second quarter of game 2, because I feel like that was a
give me
line of
2 minutes.
demarcation.
Can you
for
break
him.
it down that quickly? I don't know if you
Yeah,
can.
give me
There's
1
no
sec.
rush on it. I mean, you can even bring it up
give
later.
me 2 minutes. You asked for something. Give me
All
2
right.
minutes.
At the end of the
Because
day,
I feel, and maybe I'm nuts, but I feel like I felt like through the first quarter of game 2, I'm like, Donovan, he's killing it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the last 11 quarters, he's been total ass.
at the end of the day, maybe
I shouldn't say ass. I love Donovan Mitchell, but that's a little too harsh. But not good.
I think he might. Maybe he's out of gas. Maybe that's the thing. You know, he coming to Cleveland, he had to do so much, and not everybody else pulling weight. Maybe he
I
out of
don't know.
gas.
Come on. Out of gas? He's a young man.
I keep going, and I haven't talked about this. I should probably ask him tonight maybe. When I mentioned before, at the end of the regular season, I think it was the Indiana game, he told me, he said, I was exhausted. Like, he was fine having Darius take that shot and Strus take that shot because he said, I was exhausted. So with the time that he missed, I don't know if his wind was where he wants it. Now, I don't know that, listen, that's not an excuse for all of this, but it is a curious point that then they had the week off. And I don't know, I just don't know, coming off the knee, if his stamina and if his wind is where he wants it. I would tend to say yes, but because he was exhausted at the end of that Indiana, I don't know. It's an interesting point.
Yeah.
And they don't play back-to-backs, obviously, anymore.
Right.
So you get a day
Sure.
off in between.
All I know is they needed to sweep them really badly so they can
Get
get
some
the
rest.
rest.
And now,
That's loud.
it's so funny, dude. In this seat, when Mike talks to me privately in my ear,
Yeah.
if I have it, it's like so loud, but if I turn it down, I can't hear him when he goes on the air. Anyway, go ahead, Mike.
So in game 1, Donovan Mitchell shot 11 of 21 from the floor.
Okay.
11 of 21, that is 52.4%.
In the first quarter of game 2?
In the first quarter of game 2, he was 5 for 7 from the floor.
Okay, so you said 11 of 21 and
So
5
he
or
was
7.
16
so
of
that's 16 of
26.
28.
What was
16 of 28, math not my strong suit.
16 of 28 through the first 5 quarters of this series. That's excellent. That's
Was
like
this-
55%.
Tremendous. Yes.
what quarter did he get elbowed?
I don't remember.
And ran out.
Now, what are okay? Hold on.
That was the end of quarter one in game 2.
Okay.
Okay, so there you go. So since quarter 2 of game 2, what's he shooting?
In the rest of game 2, quarters 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
He was 4 of 13 from the floor.
Okay, 4 of 13. Game 3.
6 of 16.
So that's 10 of 29. And
5 of 14. So 15.
15 of 43. So that's about 35%.
Yes, sir.
So he was shooting 55% the first 5 quarters of the series and 35% the last 9 quarters. I mean, obviously you don't expect him to shoot 55%, but he's like shooting below 30. Well, yeah, about 33% actually.
And when he went out in game 2 and at the end of what was happened? What happened? He got elbowed in the
I don't remember
stomach.
exactly.
I mean, he was fine.
Yeah, he was fine. But he has not played well since then. And they can't win if he's not playing well. That being said, I feel like they're going to win tonight. Do you guys?
They better.
I'm about to say, if they don't win tonight.
I think they win tonight.
I do too.
I think they win.
I think they're going to win the series in 7. I think the home team's going to win every game.
That's sad, though. Like,
It is what it is. What do you think? You think they're going to win tonight?
Me?
Yeah.
I think they're going to win tonight.
I think I got Cavs in 7 right now. Jason?
I said Cavs in 6 before the series.
You staying with that or going to 7?
I'll stick with 6.
I'm going to stick with 6, too.
It's just the way. It's just the way that they lost 4 that really soured me. It wasn't even 3. Like 3, it happened.
You said they was going to lose 3.
Oh, I knew that.
I was the only one that
But you thought they'd bounce back. Even if they lost a nail-biter in game 4.
I didn't care that they got blown out, like worst loss in postseason history. It doesn't matter because they pulled the guys in the third quarter, which was smart because you have an early game on. You had a 1 o'clock tip on Saturday.
Right.
So get them off their feet. Like, okay, you lost. You're still up 2-1 in the series. I paid no attention to game 3. But to come back in game 4 and have your pants pulled down again,
that's embarrassing.
That can't happen
against the team that looked like they could never make a shot in the first 2 games.
That can't happen.
Mike, I got Cavs in 7. They got Cavs in 6. What do you got before you give your other comment?
I picked Cavs in 6 before the series, so I'm just going to stick with that.
All right, go ahead.
Tonight we talked about Mitchell. We talked about earlier Jared Allen stepping up and being the only guy top to bottom on this roster who's played up to expectations so far. Games 5, 6, and if it goes to 7, 7. The Cavs need, and I cannot emphasize need enough, and I'll show you one play. I'm not going to do a whole thing, but just one play that shows us more. They need Darius Garland to be aggressive tonight. They shot 17 threes in Game 4. 17. That's an inexcusable number. Yeah. The Cavs have to shoot, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, he's not shooting. I mean, he's just not shooting.
I'm going to show you. And they're giving him space. The Magic are literally saying, Darius, we don't think you're going to shoot the ball. We're going to give you space to operate because we don't think you're going to either A, make us pay, or B, even take the shot. And Steve, if you want to go to this clip real quick. These are 2 clips from Game 4. The Magic are giving Darius space. And you see here whenever Steve hits play, they're going to set a little side screen. Magic going to go under the screen here. Darius misses. This ends up being a turnover. But this is him on Mo Wagner going to the paint. And he ends up throwing the ball out of bounds.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I remember that play.
This is him going here. Mo Wagner doesn't even attempt the shot, bricks the layup.
Yeah.
The Magic are daring. And I'm seriously, they are saying, look at the space. Go, attack. Jalen Suggs, his head is going towards Donovan Mitchell. He appears to be there. He's not really there.
God.
Terrible turnover, leaves his feet. Here, Mo Wagner, that's not a contest. When Darius Garland, an all-star caliber player, gets to that spot, this cannot be the result. This is just 2 plays from Game 4. There's a million examples of this throughout the entire series. They are begging Darius Garland to beat them. And he's way too passive. He's not converting on the opportunities he gets. And they are giving him the space. Until he makes them pay for that, they're going to keep doing it. And he's just not taking enough shots.
Yeah.
He's not getting into the paint, creating for others. And part of the reason the 3-point attempts were so down in Game 4 is Darius is driving in and they're not helping off.
Here's what I don't understand.
Please try to shoot that layup.
Here's what I don't understand. First of all, he looks like me playing pickup ball 10 years ago with those layups. Not that I could run, but he, that's 20, how that was my layup, just, an
20,
easy miss.
20 years
but here's what I don't understand. Darius Garland, guys, this season was not – he had a terrible season. He didn't shoot well, but he was not afraid to shoot, Jason. He was never afraid to shoot. There were a lot of games this year where he played poorly, but he took a ton of shots and shot the ball poorly. What I don't understand right now is for a guy who has never shown a lack of confidence or a lack of wanting to shoot the ball, a lack of confidence in shooting the ball, now it's the opposite. His field goal percentage, his 3-point percentage has actually been pretty decent in the playoffs. He's just not shooting the ball. He's never done that before. I don't understand.
To me, it just seemed like it's all been mindset with him. Before Donovan got here, he was the guy. He was the guy that everybody looked to. He had to have that instinct, that killer instinct. And then, it was about how can I coexist with Donovan. Well, Donovan's going to be the aggressive guy, so somebody had to be the passive guy. And it seems like to me, now that you need him to be aggressive again, it's like he lost how to be aggressive. Like, dude, give me that lane. I'm going to dunk the thing. You give me the lane like that. Like, you got all the talent in the world. Like, obviously Donovan's not 100%. He's not. So you got to be the guy, and you got to be the one that take over. If they're giving you space like that, you got to take those shots. You got to finish those shots. Make them play you, and then that opens up everything else. I think you got to come out like McNugget said. You got to be aggressive, and then after you become aggressive and they start playing you, now you can facilitate. Now you've already they're gonna collapse to you. They're gonna break down and try to double you. Now you can kick the ball out. But right now, everybody thinks that you're looking to pass. And I get it. That's what you want to do to begin with. But now is the time to change those things and be aggressive. Don't look to pass, look to score. And once they start double teaming you, then you start look to pass and make the play. But you got to switch your mindset right now. Your mindset is wrong.
And by the way, everything Mike just said and everything we're talking about on the set is what the Cavs are telling them.
Yeah.
Joe was in Orlando for the series, Joe Vard, my colleague. And Joe wrote a great story on this exact topic on the off day. He talked to Darius, and Darius said, quote, "They want me to shoot more, so that's why they they were patting him on the chest after a big shot." He said, that's why they pat me on the chest, because they want him shooting more. He said, "They show me almost every day on film that I'm turning down shots.
Yeah.
I just got to shoot them."
But Jason, what do you make of this? He was never, even as he struggled this year.
Shaving.
He still shot the ball.
Would you stop?
He's shooting well. Look at the percentage. He's shooting pretty well. What is happening? How do you explain this?
Jonte Porter.
Stop it. No,
stop it.
don't even accuse me of that. Stop
You're going to
it.
get us all in
Is
trouble.
there an explanation here?
No, I mean, I don't. Mike, do you have one?
How do you explain
It's
this, Mike?
confidence. It comes down to confidence, and for whatever reason, there's some sort of mental block in his head that he feels he has to play perfect.
Yeah.
And if he misses shots, it's the end of the world.
But he was
So he's-
missing shots all year, and he still shot the ball.
No, he didn't shoot the ball nearly as much this year as he had in the past.
And part
But he
of
was
it,
shooting it more than he's shooting in the playoffs.
That's true, but it was. I mean, I'll look at his Pro Basketball Reference real quick. His shot attempts this season were the second lowest of his career, only lower than his rookie season.
Yeah,
Down
but compare what were his shot attempts per game in the regular season,
14.8.
and what are his shot attempts per game in the playoffs?
Well, I got to open another tab for that. It was 14.8 this year.
Yeah.
16.6 last year, so down 2 full shot attempts.
Right.
17.3 shot attempts per game his All-Star year in 2021-2022. And his sophomore season, 14.4, so just above. And in the playoffs, his career playoffs shooting stats, he hasn't taken more than 11 shots a game in the postseason.
I mean, that's crazy.
11, 11, 10, 11 are his 4 playoff games this year. So he's averaging 10.7.
So he's
shots
down
per
4
game.
shots a game.
I mean, Mobley has taken more shots than Darius in this. Now, again, ultimately, ideally, you want Evan to be the one, but we're not at that point yet.
No.
Darius needs to be.
And again, Darius is shooting well. That's the thing. It's kind of lost here.
I think part of it, small part of it,
Yeah.
is being a point guard and feeling like you have to get everybody involved and everybody's
that
got
was
to get
his
their
game.
touches.
Yeah.
Those,
Yep.
I mean, good point guards. I forget who said this. It's always stuck with me. It was like Chris Paul years ago, where
Yeah.
one of them said they're very aware of, like, my big hasn't had a touch the last 3
That was
trips.
Chris Paul.
Right.
That's exactly what you're talking about. It was Chris Paul.
Was it Chris? Like,
Yeah.
he hasn't had a touch the last 3 trips down. I got to get him a touch. So and that's why I go back to saying it's really hard to win a championship when your point guard is your best player on your team. Yes, Isaiah Thomas, it has happened, but it's very, very rare. Like, you can always find the anomaly.
Yeah.
But the point guard has so many other responsibilities of keeping everybody involved and keeping everybody happy and getting guys their touches. And I think that's a small. I'm not saying that's.
Yeah.
But I think that's a small piece of this is trying to keep everybody involved. But yes, he does have to be more
What
aggressive.
position does Steph Curry play?
Okay, that was the
but
greatest shooting assembly team of all
and to-
time. And again, that's 2 examples in
And
50 years.
here's the difference: Steph Curry is Isaiah Thomas are two of the greatest point guards in the history of the game. What, two of the five greatest point guards? Certainly 10.
You know what the difference between them and DG is? They wasn't scared to shoot it.
Right. Well, they're better players. They're way better players. Darius Garland's a good NBA player.
Darius has the ability and the skill set to be a really good point guard, be a top point guard in this league.
But not Isaiah Thomas.
Right now, what he's missing is the mindset. That's what he's missing.
Certainly
But it ain't just him; it's the whole team. Because right now, to me, when I look at him, it's Donovan, save us, and it's like, no.
I've said that for 2 years.
Like somebody else. Don't why y'all want to sit back and watch Donovan
Jared
all
Allen,
the
his
time?
credit, he's played well.
Excuse
but the
me.
rest of the team,
You're right.
yes.
Donovan and Jared, save
That's
us.
it.
Like, dude, somebody
This is
contribute
it.
in some
This
way.
is the whole season is on the line tonight. The coaching staff is on the line tonight. Maybe the GM is on the line tonight. Because if the Cavs lose this series, I'm firing everybody. I'm firing every member of the front office, and I'm firing every member of the coaching staff.
Every member of the front
I'm firing Jason,
office.
Joe Varden, everybody. No, I'm not firing those guys. I am fighting.
There's a lot of people that like those guys fired.
Yeah, that's true. I'm telling you, Mike, I'm firing. If I'm Dan Gilbert, everybody. The head of tickets, the head of PR, everybody.
Jeez.
That's not an overreaction, is it?
I don't care.
I ain't fired.
I haven't talked to the PR guy in 13 years. He's too good
I wouldn't
for us.
fire everybody. Maybe the GM, the head coach, and two of the four.
I'm firing everybody.
Before
Everybody.
Two of
in
the
the
core
organization.
fours,
Get them
go,
out.
for
Before
sure.
we move on, Jason, any other numbers that you did on your deep dive you want to mention before we talk about the atmosphere we expect from that Rocket
On the Darius conversation, his net rating is minus 18.5 for the series. Now I don't have the historical context of that.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
I can tell you that's not good.
What is a good net rating?
Even. 0.
0 is good.
So
Yeah.
here's the net ratings for the Cavs in this series. I just had it.
Okay.
Where'd it
And
go?
net rating is the difference between your offensive rating and your defensive rating. So
Yes.
how many points per 100 possessions does your team score when you're on the court?
Gotcha.
How many points does your team
So 0 is average.
Yeah, 0 is average. 0
Okay.
is net neutral.
Here's the Cavs net ratings in this series.
Okay.
Donovan, minus 8.6.
That's bad.
Max Strus, minus 8.6.
Bad.
Those are the good ones. Below them, I didn't write down the numbers. Below them, Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley, Karis LeVert, and then Darius Garland, who is a minus 18.5.
Anybody